legal cases, rappers falling off, former friends becoming enemies. That's right, it's another episode of poorly aged rap lyrics. My favorite series to make on here. I love it, you guys seem to love it, so I have no problem dropping episodes in this series as much as I can. Now, before we get going, if there is a sponsor in this video, past CDTV should make it known right now. Okay, I guess there isn't, but hey, just before we get started with that, I'm really excited to share with you guys that this video is sponsored by TIDAL. That's right, the streaming platform for music fans all around the world with the highest sound quality and better royalty payments for artists. That TIDAL. To speak on those things a bit more, depending on the tier that you subscribe to, you can stream from TIDAL's vast music library of over 80 million songs in lossless HiFi quality or master quality if you go for the HiFi Plus subscription. I genuinely love just going through songs and switching the quality settings to see the difference in the quality and the clarity that you get with TIDAL. It makes your favorite music sound better than it ever has. As for better royalty payments to artists, with the HiFi Plus subscription, TIDAL pays 10% of your subscription fee every month to your most streamed artist in that month directly, making things better for them. It looks like The Weeknd is probably going to be taking January for me, but if I wanted, I could stream any of my other top artists just a little bit more to get them up there and kind of choose who I want the 10% of my subscription fee to go towards. On top of these benefits, TIDAL also has radio stations so that you can get a constant stream of music that's similar to the artists that you know and love, along with personalized playlists tailored to you. And we're not done yet. On top of that, they have a library of 350,000 videos that can be connected to the many devices that they partner with. Whether that be your TV or your DJ equipment to make mixes with your TIDAL music library. So, to get access to all these amazing benefits that TIDAL offer, click my link at the very top of the description below or down in the pinned comment, and you can go through that link to sign up for TIDAL's limited time promotion, giving you 3 months of the HiFi subscription for just $1, or 3 months of the HiFi Plus subscription for just $2. With a low price like that, there's no reason not to click the link down below and see the benefits that TIDAL has to offer for yourself. Much love to TIDAL for sponsoring today's video. It's an honor to work with them. Okay, apparently there was one, but it's for the streaming service that I'm currently using, so it's worth it. But that is everything for the intro, so with that being said, this is CDTVProductions, and let's get right into it. Lil Uzi took a risk here by essentially placing a bet on a fairly unpredictable sport in the lyrics of his song. Further than that, it's in the title of the song itself. Uzi, you could have just waited. The story behind it is, in 2015, Ronda Rousey, one of the most famous UFC fighters in the world, one of the most well-known ones at least, was undefeated going into her match with Holly Holm with a record of 12-0 wins to losses. And after that match, her record was 12-1. She was knocked down, like the first half of Uzi's line suggests, but with the second half, he showed his faith in Ronda, believing that she can get back up, return like she never lost, and beat her next opponent, Amanda Nunes. But this lyric is in this video, so I'm sure you already figured out that Nunes beat Ronda Rousey in 48 seconds, left her face looking like a rare steak, her official record was now 12-2, and Ronda unofficially retired from the UFC afterwards, and is now signed as a professional wrestler in the WWE. Okay, maybe you didn't figure out all those specific details, but she lost. That's what I'm sure you figured out. Uzi released this song in July of 2016, so with the Rousey-Nunes fight happening in December of 2016, this song went out of date in about 5 months. Let's just pretend that Uzi was talking about the WWE with this song. That would make sense now, considering Ronda Rousey just came back following a loss 3 years ago to win the Royal Rumble this year. So it works if you just pretend it was about that. Walk inside a Def Jam. Step on the president table and dap him up with the left hand, cause I'm cutting money with the right. In 2016, Logic spoke on this track about being friendly with the top guys at Def Jam and about all the big bands that he was making with them. It's definitely real money, guys. Nothing sus going on here. But this turned around just 4 years later in 2020 when Logic revealed on Instagram that the people that he had worked with weren't getting paid, which was the label's responsibility. A situation which definitely didn't earn the label any daps from Logic. In the post, he shared screenshots of texts that he received from Kevin Randolph, who is known for voicing the character of Kai, mainly on Logic's album The Incredible True Story, and has also produced some tracks of his, which I actually didn't know. I didn't know that was the same person until I researched this segment. I don't know if that's just me though. With Kevin clearly being confused that he hadn't received any payment whatsoever for the work that he did on Logic's albums. Logic explained in the post that he didn't really want to start any trouble with the label, but it was starting to affect his personal relationships, and if it was an issue that went on for that long, then I think it's perfectly fair that he made it public. Among the others that hadn't been paid, Logic also named his DJ Rhetoric, Six, his main producer and a cornerstone of his albums, and Lil Wayne, who wasn't paid for his verse on the remix to Logic's song Perfect, which stopped it from coming out. He also stated in that post that aside from his advance, he had not seen a single cent in the 8 years that he had worked for Def Jam. It's worth noting though that some of these issues might be resolved now, probably because of that post by Logic, because the Perfect remix with Lil Wayne did end up coming out in September of 2021, which presumably means that Def Jam finally paid out to him, and hopefully to everyone else involved in this situation as well.
Back ain't nothing but a young thug. AKs, I need to join a gun club. They know I got that broccoli, so I keep that Glock with me.
Okay, to quickly sum up why this one is on here, Jeezy was arrested in 2014 after his tour bus was raided by the police, and they found an AK-47 and a Glock. Two of the specific guns that were mentioned in this lyric years before. But that's not really the interesting part or what the focus should be here, because this was kind of a bullshit arrest from the start. You see, Jeezy co-headlined an event with Wiz Khalifa, and there was a murder via shooting at the concert. Tour bus was raided, the straps were found, and Jeezy, along with the 5 other people on the bus, were arrested. But this is where things get a bit sussy, because it was reported that early on, authorities knew that 1, the guns didn't belong to Jeezy or anyone else on the bus, and in fact belonged to his security chief, who wasn't on the bus at the time and had purchased the guns legally. I should add that when it comes to the AK-47, he purchased it legally in Georgia, but it was illegal in California, which is where the tour bus was raided. But regardless of that, the security chief never had charges pressed against them, so clearly that wasn't really the issue here. 2, no one on the bus was near the weapon when the police entered it, as it was stored in a case behind the security chief's bed. 3, DNA testing confirmed that no one on the bus even touched the weapons. And 4, authorities knew that the guns that they found weren't involved in the murder at the concert after inspecting them. So then you do have to wonder why all 6 of them were arrested, why they had their money, clothes, jewelry, and other personal items confiscated, despite those things having nothing to do with the charges or the case. And were all held on $1 million bail each, when the recommended bail for a charge like this is $20,000, with everyone spending 4 days in jail before the bail was reduced. The charges, of course, went on to be dropped, but the whole thing was just suspicious from the police side of things. Jeezy was quoted after all of this as saying, "I pray this had nothing to do with race, but it definitely had nothing to do with evidence."
Break our whole walls out. BR to the K, and I'll be damned if we fall off.
The BRK that Chris Travis references here stands for Blackland Raider Clan, commonly just referred to as Raider Clan, and it was a group started in 2008 and led by Space Ghost Perp. You may or may not be aware of them, but they had a pretty big influence over hip-hop, specifically when we're talking about that sort of SoundCloud rap style that became really popular in 2017, with the prevalence of distortion, making music with whatever equipment you had, even if it was low quality, and lo-fi sounds. And they were doing it before anyone else really was. Like, they were active as a group between 2008 and 2015, before the SoundCloud scene even really took off like that. It contained other members you might be aware of, like Xavier Wolf, Young Simi, and of course, Denzel Curry. However, when it comes to this lyric aging poorly, they fell off pretty rapidly after this track, with the group not dropping any type of album together since 2015, core members leaving the group, and Space Ghost Purp being more known now for beefing with a lot of people, including members of the Raider clan, which just aided in its dissolution, and dropping some of the wildest tweets that you have ever seen in your life. Shout out to ETHG Stay Based for making me aware of this one. Ladies and gentlemen, do you hear that sound? Do you know what that means? It's the speed round.
Multi-platinum, we did that years ago and I still keep doing it.
The irony of G-Eazy saying this on the album with his lowest first week sales yet, that is yet to go gold and has 0 platinum singles so far on it, is not lost on me.
About to have everybody saying who is Ricky Wayne.
These are confident words coming from a man whose rap name will forever be confused with a T-Pain Lil Wayne collaboration album.
This is celebration with no invitation. This the last one that I'm done. Permanent vacation.
This would have been a great way for Logic to close out his career, but that permanent vacation officially came to an end after less than a year of retirement.
The super dope manager Jerry Heller.
Dr. Dre would go on to quickly fall out with Jerry Heller and said that he was the reason that his group NWA broke up due to his management. Not super dope after all. So that does it for the quick speed round on this video. Now let's get into talking about the last lyric on this list, which is a little bit different and is definitely a more serious one.
I said go and get the fade, cause you're gonna end up dead. You gonna be laying on that bed, because I'm coming for your head.
Like I said, this one is different to any other lyric that I've covered in this series because I cannot find this song. But due to various news outlets, I do know that it existed. And shout out to Jacob Watts for making me aware of this one in my comments. There's 2 people we're going to be referring to for this one. Shane Villapando and his close friend Anthony Morello, aka Lil A, 2 guys from California. The first one, Shane Villapando, was accused of raping a 16-year-old girl, Delaney Henderson, when he was 17 years old, and an unnamed 14-year-old girl when he was 18 years old. The case with the 14-year-old girl eventually went to trial, and long story short, he was convicted of 3 counts of unlawful sex with a minor. And because of this, he was sentenced to 1 year in county jail and had to register as a sex offender for 5 years. Now this case took place, or the sentencing took place in like 2013, so that registration is already expired by now, which seems pretty fucking light for a crime that can completely alter the course of someone else's life. So where does Anthony Morello come into this? Well, after his friend was once again found guilty of unlawful sex with a 14-year-old, he made the song that this segment focuses on, dissing her and Delaney, who accused Shane of rape, calling out these at the time minors by their full names, and saying he was gonna kill them. This then resulted in Anthony Morello getting his own court case as he was accused of threatening the girls with the song. That's the only way that I was able to find out the lyrics to this track because of that court case and the reports about it. However, after 3 years, Anthony was found not guilty on freedom of speech grounds, and the reasoning was because it was a rap song posted online in sort of like a fictional performance and not a direct threat made to the survivors. But he is found guilty in my own personal court of being a heartless prick. This case was pretty heartbreaking to look into from the fact that both of the survivors had to move schools because by all accounts the sex offender Shane was the popular kid, so they got bullied and harassed for accusing him. And this Anthony dickhead, to my knowledge, has shown 0 remorse for defending his convicted sexual offender friend. I can only hope that both of the survivors are doing well now, and I actually know that Delaney Henderson, the one that was 16 years old at the time, is actually now an ambassador for PAVE, promoting awareness, victim empowerment, and travels to the United States to publicly speak on sexual assault prevention and the bullying that often occurs after incidents like this. Saying in a 48-hour segment with CBS that whatever I do in my life, I want to help people. I was put in this situation for a reason, and I came out of it for a reason. I decided to close out with that one because while we do have a lot of fun in these videos, this one is a serious and important one. Don't be like either of these guys, and don't bully or harass people who come out with stories like this. It sounds incredibly obvious. It sounds like panderingly obvious, but stories like this prove that to some people it's still not. If anything sticks with you from this video, I want it to be that. And on that note, thank you so much to everyone for watching this video. You can of course click on the screen here to see the first video in this series, and I will see you all in the next one. As always, a special shout out to my biggest supporters on Patreon, and those are Big Daddy Foe, David, Griffin Upchurch, I Am Regent, and Ryan Shadow 507.